Morning, my name's Simon. Welcome to Bennetts Bike Social. Welcome to a slightly rainy Rutland in the UK, and welcome to the launch of Yamaha's 2024 MT-09 SP.
Welcome, you wonderful human beings, to the wilds of Rutlandshire in the UK on Yamaha's 2024 MT-09 SP. In slightly dodgy weather. I think it's going to rain soon, so I'm going to keep this really brief, which actually kind of fits in with the MT-09 SP, because if you're familiar with the SP naming convention previously with Yamaha, you've probably already guessed, hey dude, what the changes are to this bike. So basically, for your extra money, which I'll get into in a minute, you get posher suspension, posher brakes, a posher finish overall, and a few little extras here and there, which I'll talk about. What has stayed the same with the MT-09 is it's still got the 890cc inline triple, 117 horsepower at 10,000 RPM, 69 pound-foot of torque at 7,000 RPM. It's still a beautifully lusty engine, full of rich, mid-range, eager, exciting to ride. I love this thing. It's got a third generation quick shifter now for 2024. It's got some changes to the gearbox in the top gears for smoother engagement. It's got this slightly revised induction system so that it now feeds in from the top of the tank with these little sort of grills here, so you can actually hear the induction noise. Apart from that, it's the same, and obviously the SP, let's just have a quick look, it's the same as the MT-09. Same aluminium delta box chassis, die cast, slight tweak to the headstock on the 09 and on the SP, because there's a more forward biased riding position, a sportier riding position, more weight over the front with lower bars, rear set foot pegs. Gives the whole bike a bit more of a sportier ethos. Again, that's the same between the 09 SP and the 09. Big change to suspension though, of course, no surprises. So the standard bike has KYB 41mm upside down forks, which are fully adjustable, and it has a KYB rear shock for preload and rebound adjustable. This bike also has KYB forks, but they're uprated. They've got stiffer springs, different damping rates, high and low speed compression adjustment for that sort of extra tweakery, diamond light coating, and obviously the gold finish. And at the back, again, like SPs of old, we've got an Öhlins rear shock, which is adjustable for preload, rebound and compression. So all round uprated. Also for the SP, you've got uprated brakes. Again, not a surprise. Brembo Stylema calipers. They're about 13 grams lighter. They have a larger piston area, and I suppose they're a better match for the new 16mm Brembo master cylinder, which the MT-09 has as well. So yeah, better braking performance, better suspension, better braking performance, a better finish overall. So we've still got an aluminium swing arm, but the aluminium swing arm has a brushed finish on the SP. And the bike itself is slightly sort of uprated in terms of the, I don't know, the colour, the depth of the paint. It's got some pinstriping on it, which is a bit R1 style. It's still the same weight. Well, it's 194 kilos, up a kilo from the standard 09, which is 193. I'm not sure where that kilo comes from, to be honest. Maybe the software is heavier. Seat height is the same, 825mm. It's still really narrow and easy to sit on. Again, new for 2024 was a two-step seat instead of a single-piece seat. It's quite narrow, quite flat, but it again just pushes you forward into the tank, puts your body over the front end a bit more. Then the other difference is, what have we got? We've got this sort of keyless ignition for the SP, which the 09 hasn't got, with this big switch here, and then there's a key fob in my pocket, which actually, this big switch looks a bit like the one they used to have on the Kawasaki 1400 GTR, and if you pulled that out, there was an actual key on the end. Whereas this one, I keep wanting to pull it, but it doesn't come out. So the key is actually on the fob in my pocket. Right, so what other changes we've got? We've got some software changes. We have the 5-inch TFT dash. The 09's got that, new this year. New switch gear, pretty sweet. It's got cruise control. It's got this joystick. Hasn't got a little fiddly scroll wheel anymore. It's got a rocker switch for the indicators. All that's new for the 09. All that's the same for the SP. Forgive me, this is going to get slightly nerdy, but the standard 09 comes with 4 different displays. The SP gets a 5th display, which is basically a big chronometer, like a lap timer. Can only turn it on when the bike's at a standstill, so I can't show you it right now. Then in terms of electronics, we have those R1 style 6-axis IMU electronics, including variable rider, throttle response modes. You have different traction control, you can adjust slide control, wheelie control, engine braking control was introduced for 2024. For the SP, you get an extra 4 rider modes. So the standard 09, you have street, sport, rain, and then 2 custom modes, that's 5. And then on the SP, you have an extra 4 track modes, they call them. So basically you can set all your electronic settings up for a specific track and have 4 different tracks. So you can have a Cadwell map, and you can have a Alt Park map, and a Donington map, and an Anglesey map. I don't know, name your circuit. So yeah, and I think that is about it for the 2024 SP. So basically, uprated suspension, uprated brakes, nicer finish, and a few more electronic toys to play with. And the price is different. So the SP comes in at £11,806, which is £1,700 more than the £10,106 for the standard MT-09. That's quite a big chunk. Your £1,700 obviously goes on uprated suspension, the brakes, and the extra finish. Right, I'm going to ride a few more miles. Hopefully it's not going to rain, and I'm going to come back to you at the end of the day and tell you whether I think all those changes are worth the extra cash on one of my favourite B roads. I might even speed up a bit, you never know.
That has been a fun day razzing around on Yamaha's 2024 MT-09 SP. The big question is, does the suspension, the brakes, and maybe a little bit of electronics make much difference to the riding sensation? And are they worth the extra £1,700 in price? Now, the riding experience is pretty much the same as the MT-09. You know what you're going to get. You're going to get that mid-range, rich, bountiful, beautiful inline triple. It's one of the best engines in production. It's really good fun, easily controllable, lots of electronics to play with. All that is pretty standard MT-09. Gotta be honest, for £1,700, in terms of the actual feel, you know you're riding on better suspension, because you can feel the bumps they're more prevalent because the suspension is stiffer, but they've got more of the edge taken off them because of the damping is better. So yeah, it does feel like a step up in quality of the suspension. In terms of the braking, they're pretty potent anyway on the MT-09. I'm sure the Brembos have got an extra edge of performance, because they should have. On the road, I don't think you can tell. So on the track, I haven't ridden it on the track, I would suspect that if you spent £1,700 getting bespoke riding lessons, probably make a bigger difference to your lap times than the better suspension. The MT-09 is pretty good as standard, to be fair. But I looked into the PCP prices. I think for about a £3,000 deposit, the SP is about £22 a month more than the MT-09 on about a £2,500 deposit. So then the question becomes, for £22 a month, do you want the extra bling? I would. I think you probably would too, but you know, that's how cheap we are. The other problem with this bike is that the price tag, 11,806, does start to move it into a different league. So whereas the MT-09 is competing with bikes like, I don't know, KTM's 890, or maybe Kawasaki Z900, or maybe Triumph Street Triple 765R, this fella is competing with things like the Street Triple RS, which is 128 horsepower. Not quite the same level of mid-range as this, because it is a slightly smaller engine, but that's got really good suspension. It's got a more sporty riding position as well. You're more canted forward on the Street Triple. It actually balances the lack of fairing, the wind blast, really well. This is still a little bit upright. Once you start tanking on a bit, you can feel the wind on you. So anyway, it's been a short and sweet test because it is really just suspension and brakes and a few extra bits on the dash. For my money, like I say, £22 a month? Yeah, go on, why not? But there it is, Yamaha's MT-09 SP. As usual, get your insurance from Bennetts, become a Bike Social member, download your podcasts from Bennetts, and all that remains for me to say is thank you very much for watching.
Oh, mate.